On the news tonight, Ondo State government pledges commitment to infrastructural development, meets road contractors. Nigerian Senate President Akpabio calls for ceasefire in Gaza at parliamentary conference. And from the foreign scene, several people die, thousands homeless as earthquake hits Popa region of New Guinea. From the world of sports, Osrc gauges opinion on position of Super Eagles' new coach. Good evening and welcome to the news. I am Remy Allen. The Ondo State government says nothing will deter it from transforming the state, most especially in area of infrastructural revolution. The special advisor to the state governor on infrastructure, land and housing, Pastor Joseph Babalola, spoke while meeting with consultants and contractors handling various road projects across the 18 local government area of the state.
In January this year, the state governor, Loki Ayedatiwa, directed all contractors handling road projects across the state to go back to sites and continue with the project. It was, however, observed that some of the contractors refused to return. This apparently informed a meeting between them and government officials led by the special advisor to the governor on infrastructure, Pastor Joseph Babalola, to ascertain what could be responsible and meet minds. The contractor handling the Akure overhead bridge thanked the state government for the convocation of the meeting and promised to complete its project in record time. The special advisor, Pastor Babalola, told the consultant and contractors that Governor Ayedatiwa is eager to complete all awarded road projects and would not entertain any delay. Babalola used the medium to appeal to contractors who have not returned to site to do so without any delay.
And we have really moved with a very wonderful and harmonious relationship, which is very certain that this relationship must what? Must continue in a very wonderful direction. The kind of track record that you have, we should actually endeavor to maintain that. As we, all of us here, will believe strongly in performance. And by the time you perform exceedingly well, you know your record is there. And it's already that's enlarging or even expanding your track record. So that I don't want any person, either consultant or contractor, to play with this kind of track record you have.
He reiterated government commitment to fast-tracking infrastructural development across the state. A top government official in the ministry, Allen Idowu, said the meeting was an interactive one to discuss how to see that all road projects embarked upon by the present administration is completed.
For development in any state, region or country, infrastructure definitely has to receive the necessary boost. And His Excellency, Mr. Governor, Honorable Loki Ayedatiwa, has recognized that infrastructure is key to the development of any society, region or state. And that is why he has appointed one of us who happens to have a very good experience and exposure in this ministry to be the special advisor to him on infrastructure, lands and housing.
After the meeting, the special advisor led officials to inspect road projects within Akure metropolis. Projects visited are flyover at Oyanrugbolem Junction, other road dualization, Ijoka road dualization, among others. Pastor Joseph Babalola expressed satisfaction on the level of work done.
The project across the state is highly massive, and I know, yes, by the help of Almighty God, our governor, and I would love to Mr. Ayedatiwa will achieve all this. And more are still coming.
No doubt, regular interface with handlers of government projects and inspection would ensure quick completion of projects. Kunle Ariyo, Osrc News.
President Bola Tinubu, who will be turning 72 on Friday, March 29, said he will not be hosting a birthday event. He also stated that he does not want any of his associates and numerous well wishers across the country to organize any celebratory event on his behalf or in his name. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu enjoins friends and associates who may wish to place goodwill advertorials to kindly donate the money to charity organizations of their choice in his name. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, has called for a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza and the unconditional release of all hostages. He also called for access to humanitarian aid for victims of the war conflict zone. Mr. Akpabio made the call in his address at the ongoing 148th Inter-Parliamentary Union IPU General Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland on Sunday. The Senate President urged members of the IPU not to conclude the General Assembly without adopting his demands as part of the resolutions that will be announced after the Assembly. Mr. Akpabio's demands are not different from the position already taken by the Nigerian government and the country's National Assembly. Nigeria also joined 119 other countries at the UN General Assembly last year to vote in support of a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, where Israeli attacks have killed over 10,000 people, including over 3,000 children. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has directed applicants of the Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme to submit their national identification numbers as part of the necessary requirements to obtain a grant earmarked to cushion the effect that recent economic reforms had had on businesses in the country. The government, through the Bank of Industry, has said it would be disbursing 3 categories of funding totaling 200 billion naira to support manufacturers and businesses across the country. It said the new rule was based on the new regulations from the Central Bank of Nigeria, directing Nigerians to link their national identification numbers with their bank accounts. The Trade Minister, Darius Aniete, issued the new directive in a post on our official X tweet, formerly Twitter. It added that only verified applicants will receive this notification, and names must match the applicant's name for the process to proceed. One of the 2 Binance executives detained in Nigeria for alleged tax evasion and other offenses, Nadeem Anjarwalla, has reportedly escaped from custody. The charges against Binance include non-payment of value-added tax, company income tax, failure to file tax returns, and complicity in aiding customers to evade taxes through its platform. It was reported that Anjarwalla escaped from the Abuja guest house where he and his colleague were being held. He was said to have escaped after some guards on duty escorted him to a nearby mosque for prayers. The British national, who also holds Kenyan citizenship, is suspected to have departed Abuja via a Middle East airline. How Anjarwalla boarded an international flight despite his British passport, which he used to enter Nigeria, being held by Nigerian authorities, remains unclear. An immigration official said the Binance executive fled Nigeria on a Kenyan passport. The official said that the authorities are working on unraveling how he obtained the passport, given the fact that he had no other travel documents apart from the British passport on him when he was arrested. Meanwhile, the Office of the National Security Advisor Osrc has confirmed that Nadeem Anjarwalla, a suspect in the ongoing criminal probe into the activities of Binance in Nigeria, has escaped from lawful custody. The head of strategic communication at the Office of the National Security Advisor, Zakari Majiyawa, said Mr. Anjarwalla escaped on Friday, 22 March. In a statement today, Mr. Majiyawa explained that upon receiving a report of Mr. Anjarwalla's escape, the NSA's office took immediate steps in conjunction with relevant security agencies, MDAs, as well as the international community to apprehend the suspects. He said security agencies are working with Interpol for an international arrest warrant on the suspect. The personnel responsible for the custody of the suspect have been arrested, and a thorough investigation is ongoing to unravel the circumstances that led to his escape from lawful detention. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCOM, has once again increased the rate for the 2024 Hajj, citing foreign exchange rate adjustment. About 49,000 pilgrims who had earlier paid the old fees of 4.9 million naira each to the commission are to pay an additional 1.9 million naira each on or before 28 March, while new registration has been fixed at 8.5 million naira. This rate adjustment was revealed in a statement issued by the spokesperson of the commission, Fatima Sanda Usara. Explaining the reason for the hike, the commission stated that the current rate of 1,474 naira to $1 makes it imperative to make the adjustment. The commission stated that for new registration for the 2024 Hajj, intending pilgrims from northern states are to pay 8.2 million naira, while those from the south are to pay 8.4 million naira. This is the third increment by NAHCOM in the past couple of months. You're watching Osrc News at 7. We'll now take some commercials. Please stay tuned.
Let's give it up for Giga Babata at 358 pounds. Let's give it up for Destroyer.
What is your fear? Beneath the appearance of incredible infrastructure, standard facilities, and beautiful amenities, our estates at Adron Homes come affordable with great discounts and flexible payment plans. No stress, no hassles. Beat your fears and take that bold step today. Subscribe to own your property. Adron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Attention future champs, we're calling on student athletes with dreams of showcasing their skills on a global stage. Stand a chance to win scholarships to international tertiary institutions. It's time for MTN Champs Season 2. The regionals will take place in Asaba, Ibadan, Kaduna, and Port Harcourt from February 17th to April 26th, 2024. To participate, visit www.mtnchamps.com to register today.
Thanks for rejoining the news. For more news updates, you can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV, Ondo. We'll now continue with the rest of the news. Ahead of the November 16, 2024 gubernatorial election in Ondo State, participating political parties are putting structures in place to ensure a successful outing. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, is one of the major opposition parties hoping to democratically take over control of government in the state. OSRC's Joy Pius examines the organizational processes of the PDP as recording success in the build-up to its primary election. The report.
The Ondo State governorship election is scheduled to come up on November 16, 2024. According to INEC guidelines for the election, political parties must have conducted their primary election and resolved all disputes arising from the primaries by the 27th of April. In line with this, the PDP commenced the sale of forms on March 7, and according to its schedule of activities, the sale of forms ended on Thursday, 21st March. The aspirants who bought the forms are expected to fill and submit them on or before March 25. Sources from within the party as at Thursday revealed that 7 aspirants have purchased the 35 million naira form and paid the 2 million naira charges at the PDP national headquarters in Abuja. The aspirants who have purchased the forms include former Deputy Governor Agboola Ajayi, Afenifere Chieftain Olushola Ebishini, Akinwumi Adeolu, Otunba Bamidele Akingboye, Kolade Akinjo, Bosun Aregbuwa, and John Mafo. However, the mode of picking the standard bearer of the party has been decided following failed efforts from the National Working Committee to pick a consensus candidate. The party has now resolved that its governorship candidate will emerge through the indirect mode of primary. The State Publicity Secretary of the party, Kennedy Perete, said the development became necessary to ensure a hitch-free primary election among the governorship aspirants jostling for the PDP tickets.
It is going to be indirect primaries. Indirect in the sense that a specific number of delegates are going to be elected from the various wards to form the electoral college in which the candidate will be nominated. So in that process, all members of the party are going to participate in selecting those 3. Then there will be another congress, what we call the local government congress, to determine the national delegates. There will be 18 on each of the, one person each of the local government to make 18, plus 609. That will form the electoral college to 637 thereabout. Members of our party will determine who becomes the flag bearer of the party.
Another debate within the party, which has now been rested in favor of the party's constitution, is zoning. According to the party, the governorship seat has not been zoned. However, it appears all aspirants are naturally from the southern senatorial district of the state. A former state chairman of the party, Ebenezer Alabi, while describing the processes in the conduct of the PDP primary, expressed confidence in the party's structure and the outcome it will yield.
So for now, everything is working perfectly. I'm confident, and our party, by our tradition, we are very, very objective, we are very, very thorough, and we follow the dictate of our constitution.
With April 25th set as a date for the primary election, political analysts say the task before whoever emerges as the party's chairman will be a Herculean one, as he leads the party to contend with the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
Nigeria has called for a coordinated and multilateral approach by the region to protect shared telecommunications infrastructure and diversity connectivity to ensure uninterruptible connections. This is coming against the backdrop of recent undersea cable cuts that challenge connectivities in many countries in the West African region. Executive Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Aminu Maida, made the submission in a statement delivered at the 21st West African Telecommunications Regulatory Assembly, WATRA, Annual General Meeting, AGM, which held in Freetown, Sierra Leone from the 19th to 22nd of March 2024. Mr. Maida, whose message was delivered by the Deputy Director, Public Affairs of the Commission, Inena Okoha, stated that the recent submarine cable cuts that resulted in nationwide outages on multiple networks in 12 African countries has raised the urgent need for the sub-region to establish a mechanism to protect itself from damage to submarine infrastructure and its attendant impact on the sub-region. Mr. Maida therefore proposed the urgent need to set up a framework for joint monitoring, risk mitigation, and emergency response procedures for the submarine cables that pass through the sub-region. The West African Telecommunications Regulators Assembly was established in 2002 as a common platform for national telecommunication regulatory authorities in 16 member states to promote the adoption of regulations that stimulate investment in telecommunication infrastructure to deliver more affordable, accessible, faster and secure communication services to citizens. Police Service Commission has raised the alarm over the increasing cases of killings of police personnel on official duties across the country. A statement by the spokesperson of the Commission, Mr. Ikechukwu Ani, described the trend as unacceptable, saying that these officers were also Nigerians who deserve the support, encouragement, and protection of the citizens. According to the statement, the chairman of the commission, Dr. Solomon Arase, a retired Inspector General of Police, called on the Inspector General to take another look on the capacity of state command leaderships in the country to redress the ugly development. The police have arrested 3 people suspected to be kidnappers operating in Bauchi State. The spokesperson of the police in the state, Hakme Wakili, in a statement, identified the suspect as Aro Adamu, 35 years old, Aliyu Shea Seidu, 40 years old, and Musa Umaru, 35 years old. Mr. Wakili said the suspects were arrested in different locations. One was arrested in Breni Kudu local government area of Jigawa State, while another was arrested in Korugwe, Plateau State. He said the suspects made useful statements that can lead to the arrest of more kidnappers and bandits in the state. The first suspect, Mr. Adamu, according to the police, said he was arrested in the process of collecting a ransom from the point of sale POS in Korugwe town in Shedam local government area of Plateau State. Officials say several people have died and some 1,000 homes have been destroyed in a 6.9 magnitude earthquake that hit a remote part of western Papua New Guinea. Executive Governor Alan Bird wrote on Facebook that a tremor had damaged most parts of the province. Early reports put the death toll to at least 3, while Provincial Police Commander Christopher Tamari said at least 5 deaths have been recorded and warned the number could be higher as rescue efforts continued. Dozens of villages located on the banks of the country's septic river were already battling widespread flooding from earlier in March when the quake struck. Earthquakes are common in Papua New Guinea, which sits on top of the seismic ring of fire, an arc of intense tectonic activity that stretches through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific Basin. Myanmar may not be able to hold its next election nationwide, the country's junta chief admitted in comments published today, as the military struggles to contain escalating violence against its rule. The military has made numerous pledges to hold elections since it seized power in February 2021, but has repeatedly extended a state of emergency as it battles opponents across swathes of the country. Junta Supremo Min Aung Hlaing said officials were currently focusing on verifying voters' lists, iterating that polls could only come once peace was restored. The generals justified their coup with unsubstantiated claims of electoral fraud during elections in 2020, won recently by the National League for Democracy (NLD) party of Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi. Moving to sports, who becomes the 27th coach of Nigeria's senior national football team, the Super Eagles, is a question many Nigerians are interested in finding out soon. Following the departure of Joseph Osrc, there has been an intense conversation over what the right candidate must possess or who he must be to lead the nation's team to glory. In this report, OSRC's Zaid Aribisala spotlights the evolution of the senior national football team and opinions of stakeholders whose identity, character, competence, among other things, are key.
The Super Eagles, as Nigeria's senior men's football team is now called, has evolved over several decades. Formerly referred to as the Red Devils and later Green Eagles, the team has had different individuals of different ages and nationality manage its affairs as chief coach. Among the frontrunners whose name remain evergreen in the sports history books from 1949 are British Jack Finch, the first man at the helms, to the first indigenous coach to handle the team, Adewale Adegoke, Brazilian Otto Gloria, Dutchman Clemens Westerhoff, Shuaibu Amadou, and Joe Bonfrey. More recently, names such as Festus Onigbinde, Stephen Kechi, Samson Siasia, Kenneth Raw, Augustine Eguavon, and Jose Pesaro were left the position after a second-place finish at AFCON 2023. Now that the gate is open for a new man to grace the touchline, conversation around who and what the person must bring to the table is high. A former president of Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, Sir Steve Alabi, questions making efforts at filling the vacancy and all-comers affairs.
In my judgment, what Nigeria needs to do is not to allow applications, because everybody will jump on the train, including those who do not know anything about how to handle a team. Handling a big team like Nigeria is not something you advertise, in my judgment. What you do is to look at the kind of qualities, the qualities you want in a coach. Then look around and make up your mind and bring in that person. Also in my judgment, I think we have come to the point that we do not need to look beyond Nigeria again for us to have good coaches to handle Nigeria. No, I do not think so. Those who think along that way, then we must start asking questions about those who administer our football or our sports generally. Then it means that we need to look for outsiders, Caucasians, to come and run our sports as administrators.
The veteran sport administrator believes an indigenous coach be favored above a foreigner, while competence and character be placed above mediocrity.
But in looking inwards, we must not allow those who do not know how to handle the team, or those who will ruin the team, who do not have the character to handle a big team like Nigeria. Because apart from techniques, apart from skills, apart from strategies, at the end of the day, you need to have a person with some integrity to run the Super Eagles. I've been seeing, again, as it's usually done, when there's a vacancy in the Super Eagles or any national team, then they start promoting certain characters.
Ex-international Segun Odegbami is of the opinion that the era of looking outside for trainers is gone, particularly for the nation's overall football development.
What we need are people who are committed here, who live here, who will help us here, who have all the experiences, as in all other fields that we have Nigerians doing well, exceedingly well around the world. We have Nigerians doing well. Why would they not do well in football? We must give them the chance. And football, there's only one winner. Every coach in the world, except one or two, are failures. You don't find a coach who wins from championship to championship. You don't find them. The job of a coach is to go somewhere, get a bit far, and lose. That's it. That's their job. They get hired, they get fired. Name the coach, and I will tell you who just the few people that have never been fired. So to now expect a Nigerian to come now and say he's going to win the World Cup for us, no. We must give them the opportunity to gather experience, to gather knowledge.
According to reports, the Nigeria Football Federation has received over 600 applications for the vacant top position in the Super Eagles and Golden Eagles, with the federation expected to name a new head coach for the Super
And with that sports story, we've come to the end of OSRC News at 7. But before we go, here is another look at the top stories. The present administration in Ondo State has vowed that nothing would deter it from transforming the state, most especially in area of infrastructural revolution, as government met with consultants and contractors handling various road projects across the 18 local government area of the state. We also told you that Nigerian Senate President Godswill Akpabio at the ongoing 148th Inter-Parliamentary Union General Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, has called for access to humanitarian aid and ceasefire in Gaza. Reports say several people have died and some 1,000 homes have been destroyed in a 6.9 magnitude earthquake that hit a remote part of western Papua New Guinea. And from the world of sports, we told you that OSRC gauges opinion on position of Super Eagles' new coach as who becomes the 27th coach of Nigeria's senior national football team, the Super Eagles, has been a question many Nigerians are interested in finding out. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
Thank you.